Yeah.
It's just Akbar on a loop.
I like that stuff.
It's a good one.
Trap.
Hi.
Guten Tag, Sie verhalten.
Everybody in TV land.
I'm
Hero.
dancing contest.
Mm.
Is it? Mushrooms? Oh, yeah. With the devil head on it. Yeah.
If you've ever had bastards.
Why can't I think of it? I gotta run to the store.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I hate it.
Scotch.
And then they had Scotch bonnets.
The scotch is the problem for me. I don't like that after mouth feel.
You don't like
Experiences with actual
scotch.
You'd hate what I'm drinking, Brian.
Are you drinking Old English?
No,
Scotch?
Kentucky straight bourbon.
Oh, see, bourbon's different for me. It must be the barrel then. Then Scotch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Children tears.
And Justin has found his way into the chat.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, they can't hear you, Jeremy.
Why?
Okay, there we go. How's that? Hear me now?
How about now, guys?
Yep.
You hear anything now?
Yep, got it. Okay.
Oh, nope, there we go.
Yeah.
Now they're complaining that they can hear you.
Yeah, now I hear you now. Sorry about that, guys.
Go back.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, for some reason.
It was so much better when it was quiet.
Yes, it muted in my OBS, but it was fine. Let's play. Okay, we'll try this again.
Your obs.
Welcome to the Lovecraft Tapes podcast. This is Case 15, The Crosses. I am Jeremy, Keeper of Arcane Lore, and we play Call of Cthulhu, a role-playing game filled with cosmic horror, existential dread, and Taco Bell fire sauce squirted directly into your eyeballs for only 50 cents extra. Do it.
Does it have to be the eyeballs? Can I choose a different place?
A different hole?
Different orifice?
Your investigators of the unknown are Brian as Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben.
Matt as Kyle.
Hi, I'm dead.
Spoilers. And Lupine as Rosa.
I'm Rosa.
What?
Say what?
When?
Question mark?
When did this
Big old
happen?
question mark.
Yeah, maybe.
We told you she'd read anything you put on the teleprompter, damn it.
Oh, shit. Well,
I'm
welcome,
Ron
players.
Burgundy.
Tonight we will be answering questions regarding the podcast in our recently completed scenario. Spoiler alert, we will discuss all the nitty-gritty details of this adventure, so if you haven't listened yet, fuck you. You may want to go back and start at Case 15, Tape 1 Prologue before
Case
listening
1,
to
Tape 1.
the rest of this episode. You have been warned.
Actually, you might not want to go all the way back to Case 1. It's a
Go
little
to Case
rough.
1. Listeners, if you would like to drop us a letter from beyond, please visit lovecrafttapes.com anytime and fill out our contact form. We accept thoughtful criticism, thirsty praise, and even non-Euclidean pizza with cosmic horror pineapple on it. Right, Matt? Pineapple.
Extra shrooms.
Pineapple. Pizza.
Only if you eat mushrooms on your pizza, Jeremy.
I've done it. I haven't thrown up yet. Also, a gentle reminder that if you would like to
on your pizza, Jeremy,
chat with us in real time, join our Discord server at discord.lovecrafttapes.com. today and watch lupines swing from the trapeze at the center of the big top with the greatest of ease.
Mhm.
Woo, woo.
Yep, see, it's happening, guys.
The rope.
Super, but only on Discord, so you have to join to actually
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
trapeze
Mhm.
swinging. This show is brought to you in part by our generous fans and supporters on patreon.com/Lovecraft Tapes. And we're going to go ahead and thank those folks real quick here. But I think
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, it might be a few minutes here because I believe I didn't download the latest ones.
Delete all.
I'm going to go ahead and see if I can wing this straight from the
Matt
Patreon.
is one human.
Benefits.
That is true.
He is one human. Thanks for your podcast. Okay, so this is going to be... I'm going to actually export this real quick and then import it.
Perfect.
Because I think...
In the meantime, Matt, entertain us.
Import.
We are not entertained.
Upload. Browse.
No source
Downloads.
selected.
Benefits.
Uh-oh.
What? No, sir. Oh. What happened, Matt?
Oh, we lost Matt.
Oh, he's
He's
back. He's
entertain
back.
us, so
We
he
didn't
had
just
to
lose his
leave.
video. We totally lost him. He's
All right.
gone.
Replace spreadsheet. Okay, there we go.
Matt, your spreadsheet, by the way.
There we go.
Oh, thanks.
Boom.
Replace spreadsheet.
So we want to, let's see. Get the
Spreadsheet is my
name,
stage name.
You.
Thanks for your
Special little spreadsheet.
Just so I don't come across it in the wild, what address would I go to see that?
yeah, in the wild. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
All right. So and all I need to do
Near the hot
is
springs.
clean up and remove duplicates. Data has header row. Good. Remove duplicates.
I don't want
10
to hear
duplicates.
about your
Okay.
duplicates.
So thank you to Lars Serge Mulvad, Luke Corbin, Eric Hansen, Oritako, Rich Pogue, James Mayo, Kie, The Bookish Couple, John Caballero, Ryan Hill, Reaper Jones, Sean McConnell, Poppy Mama, Jeff Howie, Jordy Rose, Barry Robeson, The Frilled Shark, Atulia, Brownie Davis, John Scarcella, Little Rowan Plays, Huge Pie, Prophet of Woe, Chris Parker, Amanda Power, Elizabeth Grieve, Kyle Sherman, Horst Draper, Ripley Iwan, Discordiant, Dom Driver, Andrew Petty, David Winterman, Phoenix Black, Ineptus Astartes, Eric Zane, Liz Moonberry, Malambra 57, Matthew, Stephen Gregory, Kevin C., Daniel Caprone, Chainsaw Unicorn, Captain Vashton, Jefferson Bell, Robert Jameson, Eric Phillips, Olda Polkert, oh damn, almost had that.
Almost
Olda
had it.
Polkert, Mitch L., Shelley DM, Boston Harbor Horror Presents,
Yeah.
Ruined Ashes, Snow, Peter VDB, Some Dude, Shane Stoley, Brindle Stubbs, J.R., J. Clark, James Brown, Botran, Davinia Von Zarevich, Frank Delventhal, Jehovah's Thickness, Steve L., I Got Walls on the Roof, Phil Campbell, Flix Capacitator, Justin Levesque, Jeffrey Young, Robert Lamb, Marty Dixon, Holden Omans, Mick Cope, Kevin G., John Konopasek, Nicholas Hutto, A.E. Jonesy, Sarah and the Wizard of Isinglass, Benjamin King, Bifford, Rolling Boxcars, Sarah Wiley, Smeg Miss Grundlegunge, Tomas. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all that. And now I can actually mark that as complete in my Patreon. So
Haha.
awesome.
I mean, yay.
Hooray.
I know,
All right.
Awesome.
But honestly, guys,
Oh,
thank you
nothing
so
Destiny.
much for all of that.
Yes,
monetary
absolutely.
support. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I still have to entertain people.
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
thank
just sit
God.
back and relax.
Go back to your default mode.
Yeah.
See my
Now
laurels?
those
They're,
are-
they're right here.
they're nice. Those are really nice laurels
Ooh.
and
Nice
hardies.
laurels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Laurels and Hardies, you say.
dear investigators, we recap Case 15, Lacrosses. Previously on the Lovecraft Tapes. Ben, Rosa, and Kyle thought their summer vacation would be filled with laughter, adventure, and preparation for their first year of high school in the fall. Unbeknownst to anyone, an ancient stone of questionable origins surfaced in the woods near the local hot springs in Las Cruces, seeding an infection which spread to the surrounding flora and fauna, then on to the citizenry. Our young investigators scrambled desperately to find a solution to the outbreak without realizing the insidious enemy had already infiltrated their ranks. All right, guys, let's A some cues. FYI, as I mentioned previously, I might have been muted. I don't know. We will also be monitoring live chat for any last-minute questions. So if something comes up, feel free to throw us some curveballs there, and we'll do our best to take a swing at them.
Mm.
All right. Matt, are you keeping an eyeball? Hey, B-Movie Screen Queen
Yeah,
1.
I
Thank you for the
will
follow.
monitor chat for any late submissions.
Just say
Right.
yes.
Excellent. A simple yes. All right, guys. So we've got a pretty tight group of questions here. We're just going to jump straight in. So
Cool.
John Scarcella asks, when Kyle got fungus cloned, why did his duplicate continue to help the group when the other replacements like Uncle John were out to get them?
Mm.
What do you guys think? You got any theories on that?
Mm.
I mean, I know why, but
my thought was that maybe it really was him, but
Yeah.
but he got severed from the clone that was starting to form,
mm-hmm.
and it was still taking him over, but really slowly, enough for
Ah.
him to remain himself until it was too late.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wrong.
No, yeah, well,
Wrong.
that's a real
wrong,
interesting
wrong.
theory, and it sort of ties into a question that Atulia asked later on, but I'll get to that here in a second. But to answer John Scarcella's question, why, when he got cloned, why did his duplicate continue to help the group? Well, so in my head, I sort of had John Carpenter's The Thing in mind, right? So what The Thing wants to do is it wants to infiltrate the group without giving away its identity. So I think ultimately that's what the Kyle clone was attempting to do. Even though, but when you think about Uncle John was out to get them, well, not really. He just sort of wanted to get Kyle. So it was a one-on-one situation in that. And as we know in John Carpenter's The Thing,
Yeah.
They always want to try to get in a room with just one other person. So that was the genesis of all that, just roughly speaking. I didn't have exactly John Carpenter's The Thing in mind, but it was that sort of intention that I thought made the most sense. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I knew there was going to be some confusion about why would Kyle continue to go along with the whole thing? But I took paid very careful attention as to when he was handling the myconazole powder.
Okay.
And the NPCs would step in and make sure that he wasn't handling it.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
There was opportunity for Kyle to do something stupid, but
I tried several times.
Yeah,
but,
it didn't really happen. When you were like, "I'll carry both things,"
right?
I was like, "Okay, well, carrying's not, it's in the bag, so it's not going to hurt him." But in the event that something would have happened and it had gotten on him,
hold on, let me take a sniff.
It would have been revealed. Yeah, maybe a bit sooner. So obviously, I didn't have anything written for the ultimate thing, what happened to him, until we were to that point in the very last episode.
Oh, right.
So, because maybe I know Brian and Matt know this, but maybe Lupine doesn't know yet. But I kind of write on the fly, depending on whatever happened in the previous session. So I kind of changed the direction slightly of the main plot based on what you guys do. So it's always fluid. It's always changing. Very few things are written in stone, so to speak.
He's like the cop from Terminator 2, the T-1000. Very fluid.
John, I hope that answers your question. Brian, do you have a question for Lupine?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to ask it? Two-part question.
Okay.
How was your first experience working with the Lovecraft tapes? And how much do we have to pay you to stay?
Well, so the first part, I found everyone really welcoming and it was really great. I was nervous that, you know, people would tend to see me as, coming in and taking over
Mhm.
something that had already happened, but I mean, not that that was what I was doing, but I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten from you guys and from the community, and Discord messages and stuff like that, and uh, yeah, I just really it made me feel like I'd found a new family, which is great,
Yay! Good. And how
and
much? How much?
uh.
About $3.50.
A stickers,
Regular
semi-regular
supply.
stickers. Yeah,
Regular supply of stickers.
yeah. I like stickers. Stickers are good.
I just came across you know how Google or whatever photo place you use pops up your memories from
Mhm.
5 years ago. It was a picture of a back of a box and our sticker was on it. And it was in the photos of when we went to Ireland. I forgot that we did
Oh
that.
yeah.
Nice.
Slap it around on some castles.
Yeah. That's it.
Ah,
Lovecraft Tapes. What's this?
Yeah. What
People
else?
are like, what the fuck is the Lovecraft tapes? And why are they putting their damn stickers all over our castles, eh?
Mhm.
Brian and Jeremy running in the background.
giggling.
All right, cool. Thanks, Brian. And thank you, Lupine. Prophet of Woe wants to know, what, if any, was the decision to run as youngsters in this case? How did it affect your decision making? Do you think it added more difficulty or tension? As for the first part of that question, I think, was it me that wanted to do it? I don't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure it was your idea.
Okay.
Yep, to start young.
Yeah, to start young. Okay.
Forever young.
Yeah,
'Cause
what?
the innocence and the
Yeah.
wonder of the world. You can
Mhm.
everything is new and shiny.
Yeah, we
And
kind
nude.
of, we went through the gauntlet of having, Delta Green agents or,
Yeah.
FBI agents or whatever, like people who had baggage, and that's fun to play too. But I just kind of wanted to go a different direction, and I was sort of like in a Spielberg mood, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought, what if we just did something that was, pretty like teenagers, but I wanted
Yeah.
to avoid the whole Stranger Things comparison because I was
Right.
not trying to go that route. But I was,
Can I say something about this?
Mhm.
I was really actually kind of nervous when you told me
yeah.
that we were playing kids, and I usually avoid playing children in any game I play just
Mhm.
because there's a lot of things that you can't do with them that you can do with adults.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then the other thing is I have a lot of trouble. I'm getting better at it, but I have a lot of trouble separating my cynicism. Have you noticed I'm a cynic? And I have a lot
I'm
of trouble
basic.
separating my cynicism from, what a kid thinks of everything. But actually, it was really fun to play Rosa because it was really fun to think about. Like, I actually had to think about what would she do as opposed
Yeah.
to just like playing her playing a character who has a slightly different personality from me. So it was a nice stretch, and it was a lot of fun, and I found that I enjoyed it. But yeah, I was very nervous when Jeremy first told me
Mhm.
that we were playing kids.
I find it therapeutic to do stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's nice to be innocent.
Mhm.
It is.
Yeah, yeah. And the time period certainly helped the innocence too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because like I
No
didn't have to
technology and
I
Yeah.
didn't have to think about all these things that, I shudder to think. Maybe Jeremy will like this next, but I shudder to think of what like kids now have to deal with.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
Yep.
Because like they have this I don't know, again, the childlike wonder of
Mhm.
the kids, and then sort of when you have all these sources of media and stuff, like sort of the childlike wonder like crashing up against the like
Mhm.
reality, and I don't know if I
Ooh,
would be able
reality.
to do that because reality sucks.
It
Mhm.
does.
And it bites.
So, and it blows.
I hear Ginger snaps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Damn it,
so
Ginger.
yeah, I think that was part of the deal, and that's a great way to answer that second part of that question, Lupine. I guess the third thing you kind of touched on it too was, do you think it added more difficulty or tension? I don't know about difficulty, maybe tension, because that like how do we play this and not go completely overboard or
Right.
terrible? But we were also very careful about picking a specific age too. When you know,
Yeah.
even though, as Lupine just mentioned, kids today are like sort of grown up a bit quicker than they were back then. But
Mhm.
even back then, kids were allowed to go places that these kids today
Mhm.
can't go,
Yeah.
or are not allowed to go by helicopter parents or whatever.
Mhm.
Different mores,
yeah.
different times.
Out of the days of you go play outside, be
Mhm.
home before the street light comes on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then just being turned loose into the world and told, go entertain yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, 14 or 15-year-olds in 1974 had a lot of autonomy in
Yeah.
reality, in history.
Mhm.
And so it was sort of like, how do we portray kids who are just becoming investigators, whether they want to or
Right.
not,
Right.
right? They're sort of
Yeah.
thrust into this
They're sort of old enough to
situation.
figure out what's going on,
Yeah.
but
They're
at the same time,
1 foot in adolescence, 1
Right.
foot in,
yeah.
dawning adulthood, really. So it was a fun tightrope, I think, and hopefully we pulled that off. It'll be
Yeah, it was
a little
fun.
easier going forward, I think, because now
We're
you
gonna be
guys have
60.
some baggage,
Oh.
and you're a little bit older and wiser.
Yeah.
And,
Rosa is a very different person this time.
Yeah.
okay.
Kyle's not, but
Yeah, Kyle.
Reasons.
Well, you were for a minute. You were
True.
really different.
True.
Really different.
Very, very briefly.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Profitable.
Yeah.
Lupine, do you have a question for Matt?
So I don't know how much. Okay. Confession time. I haven't really listened to a ton of the Q&As,
Sure.
and
that's fine.
so I don't know how deep you want to go. I guess how spoiler you want to get, but I am just seriously I want to know what was in that note. The one at the end that Jeremy just handed.
Oh,
Matt,
yeah.
and Matt's whole demeanor changed when he read it.
Mhm.
I just watched your face change, and I don't know if I'm allowed to know, but that has been I guess bugging me a little bit, just a little bit. Curiosity killed the cat.
So here's what we usually do just before Matt answers.
Mhm.
Is we all usually get together and have brunch, the players do, and talk about all of this.
Mhm.
So it's up to Jeremy probably.
No,
right?
I don't care. Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
do it, Matt.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the note that he handed me was basically a short thing saying, "You're a mushroom person, by the way. And now that all the mushrooms are dying, you realize what's going on." So that's why it was that shift, because
Oh, okay.
I did not know up until that very second what was happening. He did not tell me.
Oh, that's good.
So that whole
Yeah.
minute of me going, that was me processing and going, well, fuck.
Mhm.
Because after I came back at the end of that fight, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's something. Maybe I interrupted it
Yeah.
in time, and Kyle's gonna make it to the next season. And
Yeah, or
then he
maybe
handed
we're
me
not
that,
gonna
and I was
be
like,
able to-
nah, never mind.
And it all came down to the rolls.
Yeah, that was just because I don't know.
I got Will Wheaton.
That really dramatic. I mean, like facial change, just
Yeah.
Well, we've done that. Like,
That's why I don't play poker. I can't do the neutral face thing. I'm really bad at that.
We've sprung things on players like
Yes.
this. Like when it makes sense, we're not trying to be cruel or anything, but
Yeah.
when I know that something has happened to a character,
Right.
but I also want it to be a complete surprise to the person, because it should be. And and so we did that to George, obviously, in case 3, I think, or 4.
Ooh, that was a tough one.
That was a tough one. And then then we also
heard that.
we played with some stuff with Gabe too, and it just all boils down to is, does the situation warrant it, and it's also just more authentic if the player also has that uncertainty and they don't know what else is going to be happening in that chosen situation. So that's it. That's it. And I think I know that it was a shock or a surprise to Matt when it happened, but based on what had happened previously, it could have been that surprising. I don't think.
I knew there was a chance, but there's still always that hope.
Yeah.
That you get to keep going, because I was having fun, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and
that's the way the dice roll.
Yep.
Yeah, I got Will Wheaton hard this time. Like,
all right. Well, thank you, Lupine. I hope that answers your question.
Someone clipped that. He just said he got Will Wheaton hard.
Yeah. Okay. So Endless Ocean has a question.
Nice.
Do you people prefer playing characters that can't just look up stuff on their phones in game, or is that something that pisses you off?
What do you mean, you people?
You people.
Yeah.
What do you people mean?
I don't mind it. Jeremy's always kind of blocked us, no signal or whatever, which makes sense because you don't want to be pulled out of the story, out of the situation all the time. But in a couple scenarios where we were able to use our phones, it did come in handy. And I don't think we overused them, but I could see how players could constantly just use that to take care of everything. You know what I mean? Werewolf, what can kill that? Let's see. It's just stuff like that.
Well, I think
that's my opinion.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing of that thought. I think it might be interesting to play someone who looks everything up. So for instance,
like a hacker or something maybe, or
well, I'm just thinking like a teen who's constantly on their phone.
Oh,
and all of a sudden they have
before.
To right, yeah. No, that never happens. Yeah. But just someone who can't, I don't know. I think it's nice that we couldn't, because that it sort of forces you to play a person who's in the moment, who's paying attention to what they're doing, and it is definitely a lot easier for the metagaming part, not to have stuff that we can look up.
Mm-hmm. Matt, how about you? Preference?
I mean, there are times where we've tried hey, I'm going to look this up, and you just get oh, you can't, there's no signal, and,
Or roll for library use, and then we suck.
Yeah. Yeah, what's a library?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Library.
Book? What?
I mean, it definitely makes things more interesting when you don't have that instantaneous access to the sum of all human knowledge that is the internet and a phone. Because then, you have to get a little more creative with your problem solving, and it can really help to kind of push the storytelling aspects when, again, you don't have the answer to life, the universe, and everything at your fingertips. That being said, I do still find it really annoying when I have a phone and I go, I'm going to call this person, and Jeremy goes, nope.
Yeah.
Minorly annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally get it. And so that for me, I do prefer it when characters do not have access to look stuff up on their phone. The whole cell phone thing, it does kind of miff me a bit, because it is a crutch, and it's something that we tend to very quickly go to now And I think it just feels inauthentic if they can't come by the information in a more role-playing way. There's no role-playing when you're looking things up on a phone. So then it also feels unrealistic for me to step in and throw roadblocks in the way. So the whole thing is just like a lose-lose proposition.
Yeah, or alligators.
or alligators. That was a roll, baby.
Or shotguns to the face.
That was your shitty roll.
That an alligator appeared there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you.
It's I definitely I enjoy it more when they don't have access to everything.
Yeah.
We have played it successfully with other things, and it makes sense occasionally, but if that's the default for modern characters, modern investigators, it gets boring. It just gets boring. You can't make a podcast out of that. I'm sorry. It's just
How do you lockpick this door? Let me look it up on
Google.
Yeah.
This,
okay, Google it. You made the roll.
Yeah.
You did make the roll. It's very perfunctory.
Yeah.
And I'd rather people role play their way out of the paper bag. So that's just oh, Google, stop listening. I don't know why he went.
Jeremy, you should know that Google never stops listening.
Never. All right, Matt, do you have a question for me?
Don't do it.
I do.
Sock it to me, baby.
Moving from, I guess, what you could call an established universe into a blank canvas from, where we were with the old trio into our new area here. What was that like for you? Was it, really fun? Was it kind of scary? Were you nervous about how we were going to react to things, how the audience was going to receive the new world? Because I know you put a lot of work into everything that goes into this show, and it has to be, at least on some level, minorly terrifying to put something like that out there in front of everybody and just kind of let that go out into the world.
Yeah, I to me, it's more exciting than anything else. I don't get it can be daunting, like so what's the angle going to be, that sort of thing. It is a risk to take all of that history and what everybody knows and loves or hates, and just say, okay, 14 cases, we're moving on to a brand new cycle. So that part was risky, but our fans know us. Our style didn't change. It's sort of like we're still the same dumbasses. Plus one smart ass. So yeah, so for me, it was like, oh, okay, I have a blank slate now to just start from fresh and
kill Matt
right off the bat. That's the one thing on my list. My bucket list.
Got it done right in the first one.
Oddly enough, my bucket list is his bucket list.
How many characters have I lost at this point?
4,000 or 5,000.
Carry the 2.
So
divide by 7.
But also, because there was such baggage with all the other ones, because the Arroyos and Roy and his wife and kids and all this stuff, all that work. Well, yeah, work
down the drain,
but also a lot of things to keep in mind, right? So you're like, okay, I have to make sure that this happens, and people are going to ask, whatever happened to this character, that sort of thing. But if we just start over, it kind of takes care of a lot of that and allows us. We have a new player here, where it to me, it just made the most sense to just sort of begin again. And I really enjoyed, Las Cruces, learning about that California town.
I think there's a lot more to learn.
but also to,
no, none whatsoever.
Try our best to portray the time frame and the people of that era. It was fun.
Yeah,
I really liked it. And I'm super excited about K16.
Yeah, about that I need to talk to you guys.
I'm really excited about that. So.
Oh boy, which means he's going to murder everybody.
I'm already dead.
All right, I have a question for Lupine.
He's already dead. Hi.
And Brian actually already asked part of the question that I was going to ask. Mine was also a two-parter, but that's fine.
How much money?
You also wanted to know how much money?
Yeah. What was your first? So I'm going to say I'm going to take the second one and ask, what were your challenges to figure out the rhythms of our play style
Oh.
or to adapt to our generally adolescent behavior? Was there, you must have, you came in, you knew us peripherally, and you knew what the podcast was. And we had our, interview session and all that stuff. But then to actually be here and see us, what challenge were you like, oh shit, I gotta do this, or I didn't think about that, or
Be nice.
I really didn't have that many. I kind of felt really comfortable with you guys right off the bat.
Yay.
I don't know if it was because I listened to so much of the podcast before, like before I joined or anything, but I don't know. And it might say something about my I don't know, sense of humor, maybe that like I got along. We all sort of made the same sort of jokes a little bit, but yeah, but I don't know. It just felt like that was part of that. That was part of that joy for me, was that I didn't feel like, I have had to deal with groups, and I'm not just blowing smoke over your butt, but
Damn it.
if you'd like to, I can. If I have had to deal with groups where I haven't really, I don't know, meshed as well, I guess. And I mean, I've played a lot of, I'm sure you guys have too, played a lot of online games and just like cons and stuff, and playing with strangers, like complete strangers, is just kind of like, oh, what am I gonna do now? Is what I'm doing okay with? I guess that was the biggest challenge for me, is deciding whether what I want to do next, or what I am inclined to do next, is going to completely break the other players or Jeremy. Because I've been in that situation too, where I do something and someone's like, no, that's not okay. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Gabe has already thoroughly broken Jeremy. There's not much to do.
That's true. Roy taught me humility, embarrassment.
Shoot the phone out of the bartender's hand. It's fine.
That's true.
Well,
One.
that was
Okay.
That was actually the moment that I was like, I don't know. That was the moment listening that I was kind of like, I can play with these guys.
Nice.
Was when Gabe was like, because that is like something that I would have done.
Yeah. I love it.
And
oh no,
Jeremy's
Rose is gonna go crazy.
Damn it.
yeah,
Damn it.
but I don't know. So I guess the biggest challenge was for me was figuring out if, like, sort of what you guys would be okay with, I guess.
Test our limits,
and that doesn't necessarily mean that I would do anything. I don't know, just like sort of your style, like what is on topic, what's off topic, that sort of thing. And so that was the biggest challenge for me, but mostly I just felt really like I don't know, you guys feel like friends I would, like buddies I would have, like buddies I'd play with. So there wasn't much of a learning curve, I guess.
Good.
Nice. Yeah. Glad to hear that.
All
right. Do you have a question for me in the chat there, Matt?
Don't do it.
Yeah. Profitable on YouTube says, not to do with the story, but given the choice, would you prefer people watch on Twitch or on YouTube? Or would you prefer less of a live audience and more listens to the actual podcast itself?
So we did this early on. We didn't used to live stream.
Right.
Early on, we didn't do it. I think we did YouTube occasionally, but we kept it sort of private. It was a backup for the audio.
It was a backup for audio.
Yeah. And I was pretty adamant that I did not want us to, because we're much better now. We're a little more laid back. We're settled in. We're older. We're a little bit more mellow. But back then, we would sometimes fly off the handle and get pissed off at each other. I mean, Brian and I are brothers. We have a history.
What?
And we
this is news to me.
With that comes the ability to push each other's buttons a little bit.
Yeah.
And you'll still see it occasionally here, but we try to actively work against that. We've actually had talks between the four of us or whoever was listening. Like, once we realized, like, this is not cool, guys. We can't just like fucking freak out on the stream. When it was decided that we were gonna try to make an effort,
I look forward to taking part in one of those.
No, I hope not. I hope not. But like, as we were like, okay, people want to see the stream, so let's do it, but let's be as professional as we possibly can be. And I think we've gotten much better at that. We've had little blooms here and there, but they haven't been nearly as bad as they were in the past. And if you ever want to laugh, just go back to early days, and it's still out there.
If you want to see players shut down and not participate.
Yes, if you want to see that, if you want to see me get red-faced and pissed off, it's all there. But again, back to like Gabe and so forth, dealing with people who want to do what maybe you didn't plan for or expect has taught me a lot. So I've been trying to do, that's why we tried to do more yes and. I emphasize that at the beginning of each of the podcasts. Like, we just need to work towards that. Like, let's all pull in the same direction. And I think it's worked more or less. But in the good old days, I would prefer that people only listened to the finished, edited, polished podcast, because all the warts are removed, and it's much better, a more pleasant experience.
The words come back, though, if you don't keep up with them.
I can't imagine people even now sitting through the 2.5 hours of raw and unedited.
And they were raw.
Yeah. Back then, they were super raw.
It was.
But now we're all sort of pulling in the same direction, and I think it's better. So,
well, we know rules more. We know.
Yeah.
It's just a lot learned.
Secondary question from Twitch chat for everybody here. Favorite type of mushroom, either to eat or in general? Jeremy, why don't you start?
We had this conversation earlier. I'm not a mushroom guy, but I've come to appreciate some of them. I just don't like the spongy texture of certain types of mushrooms. I do like if they've been cooked in like butter for a long time, but in a dish, not by themselves. In ramen, I like are they called? It's not gnocchi. It's gnocchi. I think that's it. Not the little potato things, but there's a certain type of willowy mushroom that is perfectly fine. It adds a little bit of the umami, and it doesn't. It sort of just melts in your mouth. So certain ones I appreciate. How about you guys?
Yes, I love a portobello burger. No meat, just a portobello, huge, fat, juicy portobello, fried in butter, both sides, slapped with onions, tomatoes, and lettuce, and so good, so good. Portobellos aren't mushy because they're so thick; they're actually more bready. Bread.
Matt, how about you? What kind of mushrooms do you like?
I'm a fan of both shiitakes and oyster mushrooms.
I like oysters.
They work really well together in pairs, especially in
pairs.
Again, I use them a lot in like ramen. Especially if you can get like dehydrated mushrooms. It's a really great way to make like a quick and flavor, turn water into, a broth that is a little more exciting than water.
What?
But yeah.
Magic.
Lupine?
I don't like mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms.
Hand and water.
Cooking them, like when they're live, because I'm a science nerd and I like.
Yeah.
Right. Just look at them and
Yeah, I'm like, oh, cool! Look at the way that
some
the water
see if
they turn
moves,
into
the
a pizza.
nutrients
Let's
move
find
through the
out.
mushroom, and yeah,
Ooh.
Tiptoe
then-
through the tulips.
yeah, I'll look at it. I'll like lay on my belly in the forest floor and look at them. But because they're really fascinating to like, look at the spores and gills and all the stuff.
They are
but-
very fantastical when they're growing in the forest.
Yeah, they are. They're very. I especially like all the colors. I think it's really cool that something has colors that maybe just feeds on dead stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool.
Yep.
But yeah. In terms of eating, if you forced me at gunpoint, I probably would. But and I don't mind the
Write that down,
taste
Brian.
so
Write
much.
that down.
But right, yeah, Matt's gonna show up at my door with a gun.
Which
and
one
be
of
like,
us is going to get a gun? I mean, come on, for real.
right, yeah, but
I got a squirt gun. Does that count?
I have a
Totally
rubber
counts.
band gun.
yeah.
Totally.
So
I got finger
yeah,
guns.
I don't mind the flavor so much. Actually, I think that whole nutrient thing, the nutrients from the dead things is very interesting to the flavor. Like it imparts different cool flavors of different things, but also, I have this like thought like, oh, I'm eating dead things.
Yeah.
So,
Well, most of the
yeah.
things we eat are dead.
well, yeah, I know.
Even
So it's
lettuce and
Not all of them.
it doesn't have to make sense, Brian.
babies. No.
Guys, I do
Penguins.
need to give props to Prophet of Woe, the first person to have cracked the code of my titles for each of the episodes.
Oh. Were they
Uh,
Linda Ronstadt songs?
No, they were all mushroom based.
Oh, that's right.
All of them had a
didn't put that
reference to a type of mushroom.
Mm.
So if you're interested, go back and look at the titles, and you can Google some of those, and you'll see.
And if you're
that
not,
they're
F
all
off.
mushrooms. Yep. Typically, no one ever guesses my secret code for the titles, but
Just like
Prophet
movie night.
Yeah,
We never guessed the
exactly.
goddamn movie.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. So we have a question here from Sam Bifford, who I'm not sure if this is proper, but the question is, what epitaph will be written on Ben's headstone? I wondered if Bifford meant Kyle's.
Probably.
But
Unless you haven't told me yet.
yeah, I know. But we're just gonna take it as is and see if
Ooh.
what will be written on your tombstone.
Pepperoni.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Exactly.
I already said pepperoni, sir. You walked on my joke.
That's a round.
Ooh, boy. Probably
I guess we could all
got a
answer.
dollar.
Got $1.
The one thing I completely missed in this
Oh, yeah.
scenario
Yeah.
was the you gotta pay.
Yeah. You'll all
that
pay.
did not even occur
You
to
didn't
me.
think
that,
he was
Quotes.
being literal
Got a
about that?
dollar?
that did not even occur to me.
I mean, I did tell him I would give him $1 if he touched
Yeah.
it, and he
I
touched
wrote-
it. So
Yeah,
I really tried to hammer it
he
home
did earn
too.
that $1.
You did too. You're
it's
gonna
really
all pay.
awesome.
You've
Like,
gotta pay.
I really enjoyed that.
But I wouldn't have known that he needed a dollar because I wasn't with them.
Right. But it gave me an opportunity to play Ranger Rick off that whole thing.
Yeah,
So
I
that
love
was-
it.
That was
I
fun.
loved it.
I really enjoyed
Didn't I
that.
ask him? Didn't I ask him at one point? What do you want, though?
You might have, but
You
it
did.
wasn't. I probably had him respond.
You were
something
able to
like,
talk around it.
"You
Yeah.
owe me," or
Yeah.
wherever.
Right.
So yeah, it was literally written in the scenario. If they
Right.
give him $1,
Ah, that's great.
That is awesome.
I didn't have it.
But-
I kind of wish we'd somebody just thrown $1.
Did anybody
in.
quick save right before that?
oh shit, yeah, let's reload.
Right.
Let's
Yeah, we'll
reload,
just
guys.
reload. It's fine.
All right. Brian, do you have a question for me?
Sure.
All right. Have at it.
Do you want it or?
Sure.
Oh. What was the, if any, most important message that you wanted to get across to your players, but you couldn't?
Something about an elevator?
Something about $1.
Inventing the cell phone?
This is gold.
I guess. Well, so there were two sort of hurdles that popped up.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh shit, how do I get through this?
I'm quite thick as a player. I don't.
Right.
When I'm in the character, I'm in that character. I don't think outside of it.
Sure. So, the one thing was, I thought Ben would be the one to go to deliver the thing to the old guy's house.
Oh yeah.
And so when it popped up that you were like not going to do that, I was like,
I had to
shit.
plow. Yeah, I had to plow that night.
Yeah.
Dude, nobody
And you
needs
guys
to
still
hear that.
played. Hey,
Yes.
we're humans.
That's right. You were gone. So that sort of the player was missing in this instance. So I had to hijack Kyle as the
Hey, Kat.
surrogate for that. And I was like,
Gone too
well,
soon.
you know, and then Kyle's response was to run. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess
There goes that.
that guy who is going to be like the crux of figuring out the fungal situation, you know. But we managed later on to figure out a way to get you guys steered towards that.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Can I add on to that a
rash.
little bit?
Yeah.
What would you have done, Brian, if Ben had gone to the
Oh, to deliver the package to him?
Yeah.
Being Ben, his flight would have kicked in. But he's also really curious about nature and everything to do with it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not sure how it worked out exactly, the tiny details, like if he had opened the package and like pulled out what he actually purchased.
Or read like I told Kyle several times, something's written on the side of it, and you never looked.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't catch that when I listened
reading
to
is
it.
for nerds, man. Why would I ever fucking read?
So I
Something on brand for
probably
Kyle.
would have gone the route of
Kyle doesn't read shit,
being a
man.
little more curious then, probably. Like, what is
Well, now
what is
Kyle
this
doesn't read
for?
anything.
What does this do? What is
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so like
Too
you guys
soon.
would have been introduced to the whole concept of myconazole
Right. Early.
like very
Yeah.
early.
No.
And then
And
hopefully, you know, in my head, I was like, well, the curious Ben would like see this
Yeah.
and then research it
Yeah.
and then be like, that's curious, you know. And
Hey, Google. No.
at least it would have been a seed that was planted way before it was actually needed, you know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So that was one instance where that
Mhm.
occurred. The other thing, of course, obviously, we already talked about it, was the bully, and you know.
Yeah.
And actually, both times that you guys encountered the bully, it was sort of like, ooh, what are they going to do? You know? And
Yeah.
I thought it was good that we talked him into being our friends, kind of.
it was
know what I mean?
unexpected.
And then I got him killed.
Completely unexpected.
Kind of.
Well, you did.
In
Your
all
character was kind of a
senses,
jerk.
what happened to Randy was completely unplanned, completely
Yeah.
unexpected. And it was only down to your dice roll and intent. And
Yeah.
you were like, you know, can we talk him?
Matt's intent.
Yeah.
Give you a dollar to go
Get you to
touch
touch
that.
it. Do
in
it.
all instances, like, you know, it
Yeah.
came down to
Call
dice
him
rolls
chicken.
and intent. So
Yeah.
that, but it's always like those sort of unplanned things where I'm like, okay, that's why I can't write
Okay.
everything in advance, because it changes so frequently.
Yeah.
But within the space,
So there's a lot of role playing going on when we play
Oh yeah.
on both sides.
Contrary to popular opinion, none of it is scripted.
Nothing is scripted.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I lost what page we were on, guys. Where are we?
If anybody wants to start bidding
Just
on
look
my
where I
Wait,
said
notes.
Where's my
it's not
cue?
scripted.
Okay, right. No, you missed me. Oh, come on. You missed your line. We're gonna have to go
Page
back to the
12.
top of the page.
Lupine is
Okay,
on
from the
page
Twelve.
12.
top.
Oh,
Welcome to the
All right.
Lovecraft Tapes podcast, where we're doing Q&A.
All right. Let's see. That was from Bifford, was the tombstone. So, Matt, do you have a question for Lupine?
Do it.
I do. Given what we've seen with Rosa and clearly how much she cares for the animals on her farm, do you think that seeing what happened with the people and the goats and the mushrooms and everything, kind of melting away, do you think that's going to affect how she interacts with the farm? Is it changed her as a person, like in a way that she's, maybe going to steer a little bit away from certain things that she enjoyed in the first season?
Or more towards to protect.
Or more towards, yeah.
I mean, I definitely think that she's a very different person than at the beginning of this. I was sort of thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for the last few days and thinking about how I want to play her differently. Like what she came out of those experiences learning, what she took from them. Yeah, so I definitely think that I'm gonna do things differently. Rose is gonna do things differently going forward. In terms of one of the biggest things that I think is that she's gonna have trouble trusting people.
Why?
Yeah, no idea. But so I think and maybe not even just trusting what people say, but who people are, sort of, and really fundamental things, even that they might not even know. Unconscious things that they do, or behaviors or choices that they make, sort of. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna come up on this next case, but I'm definitely thinking about how would she react to this thing that happened in the last case and now, and thinking about what would I'm sort of in my head I'm sort of calling her the new Rosa. So so what would the new Rosa do when she saw the right? Yeah, she'd go grab the Actually, I think I grabbed a pitchfork at some point.
You did?
But what would the new Rosa do when she saw the goats deflating? What would the new Rosa do when she found people naked at the hot springs?
Heyo.
Yeah, that
It's
was
the 70s.
Yeah, that was very free love and all that.
Slaps
But
in the butts.
yeah, so I mean, so all I can say is that I think that she is going to be a very different person from who all the townspeople, the happy little townspeople knew.
Mm-hmm. What's
Yes,
left
right?
of them?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to explore that.
All right.
And
Cool.
Explore.
Explores. All right.
Explore.
Phoenix, our old friend Phoenix.
Nice.
They ask, after watching the movie Glorious, which stars the incomparable J.K. Simmons as the voice of an eldritch horror, I was wondering who each of you would choose to be the voice of any of your favorite Lovecraftian elder gods.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
I have a funny one and a serious one.
Okay. Have it.
Samuel L. Jackson. That's the funny one.
As who?
Oh, as our favorite eldritch horror?
Favorite Lovecraftian elder god.
Oh, that's... I'll have to come back to that. But just the voiceover, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because you hear motherfucker a lot. That's the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then Liam Neeson, of course, for the
Nice.
serious voiceover.
Because of his huge cock.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's got a huge chicken farm.
So many cock.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Just Just one.
Sort of same thing. My funny answer. My first go-to was Morgan Freeman.
Oh,
That was my immediate first thought was Morgan
That's
Freeman
good.
needs to do something.
Yeah,
his
I
pauses.
would make Morgan Freeman. I don't know. My favorite elder god is Dagon.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely make Morgan Freeman as the more. So he has sort of different ways of voiceovering, and
Mhm.
like one of his ways is like kind of like done with it all. And I feel like that would be really good. Dagon is just like and then they did something stupid.
Shut up with this shit, Morgan Freeman.
And I don't know. I think a really fun elder god. I guess they're both. I don't know. I guess they're both
Yeah.
funny, but like, and this is gonna be weird. Kristen Chenoweth. I think she'd make her really good. I listened to a podcast where she was very well, also, I mean, if you've seen her in Wicked, she does Glinda is the very questionable, like, kind of anti-hero
Mhm.
sort of ish, but I just think it'd be fun to hear Kristen Chenoweth as like Cthulhu or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, Dagon is Morgan Freeman and Cthulhu is Kristen Chenoweth, and it's just like, yeah. So
Nice.
I don't know. I think it would be fun just to hear the elder gods be like done with this shit.
Matt, what do you got, buddy?
Since we already talked Morgan Freeman,
Oh, yeah,
my
sorry.
second thought is actually no. I got another one. Is actually a pair that I'd love to see together, reenacting some of their characters, or the duo of Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, whom, if you're a '90s kid, you will know as Pinky and the Brain.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I just love the idea of like the Brain is like this big menacing old one, and then you just have Pinky hanging out. Who just, constantly provokes him and asks him stupid questions and makes him do dumb things.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
What are we gonna
watch
do
that show.
today, Cthulhu? What we do every night. Big on. Try to bring the world to
I'm on the same track as Lupin there, because Dagon is one of my favorites too. And I would probably do, for whatever reason it popped in my head, Javier Bardem as the voice of Dagon. And then I thought, well, Cthulhu, and I would want Guillermo del Toro to be Cthulhu. He has a very distinctive voice, and he has presence, and I think he could probably carry that off.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
The presents.
Oh, you're thinking of Morgan Freeman again.
Oh,
What's in the box? So I hope that answers your question, Phoenix. That was a pretty good one. That was well thought out.
I like it.
Appreciate that. Lupine, do you have a question for Brian?
Say no.
no, I had no question. But
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Objection. Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, I plead the fifth. What?
I'm during the
but
fifth.
I was kind of wondering why or how, I guess, Brian chose. How did you choose to play Ben the way you did? Like, how did you choose? I don't know, to have him interact with the adults and then the other kids the way that you did. I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting, and yeah.
I pulled from life. I was a latchkey kid, if nobody knows what that is.
Mhm.
It's where you're an only child and your family works late.
Yeah.
So you get home from school and you have a key and you get into the house, you do your chores, you prepare a snack. Sometimes you get dinner ready for when your family gets home. So I kind of pulled a little bit from that. Yeah, just had to go to school in the morning by myself. They were already off to work. almost missed the bus a couple times watching Thundercats. But
As you do.
yeah, just that independence, because
Oh.
knowing that he was by himself when his mom was working, so it was a lot of the similar
Yeah.
feel for me.
Yeah. It felt
So.
very much like Rosa and Kyle were kind of kids, and then
Yeah,
Ben was sort of like,
little grown up.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, self-sufficient.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the mom was
Had to be.
always,
Had to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had no choice.
She is busy, and he knew that she's providing, and there was no ill will. There's no ill will there at all. It's he's doing his part to help this family.
To
Keep
kill
moving.
bugs.
Yep. No.
And then I guess sort of like an add-on, how do you think you're gonna play Ben differently? Now that like,
Ooh.
is he sort of, I guess, did he feel like betrayed by the fact that the adults weren't there? Or did he still feel like he was sort of doing his part?
I think he probably felt like he's never really been able to fully count on an adult, even his mom, at times. And but this is definitely going to add a little bit more. He's definitely gonna question things more when adults say them, not take them at face value and move forward. He's gonna question a lot more of what he's told to do. Yes.
Fun.
All right.
And he's gonna invent a death ray. Oh
No.
why not?
You could be. I guess you could be like evil super.
I've already-
I don't think
I got the rock pump already in my
the
pocket.
rock. Yeah, the rock pumps. We'll see what happens with that.
So
You
here
could-
the brain,
you
does that
could,
make Kyle Pinky?
Exactly. All right. Crocy has a question. So, is that mutant baby goat mushroom hybrid still hanging around Rose's farm?
Ooh.
I think probably not, because I think we've established that
All
the,
of them.
the destruction of with the myconazole and the destruction of the root rock, that everything literally sort of dissolved. That's what we saw with Kyle. Everything like was changed to dissolution and just sort of melted on the spot, kind of thing. Because I always figured like it was like a hive mind thing.
Yeah.
And you know, anything that had been touched was still simply a mushroom type thing. That you know,
I would have loved a pet mutant goat baby.
Yes,
That's when I kind of figured it out, when you had the mushrooms coming up into a shape and then changing into a different shape, and then it's like you knew it was all being controlled by the root rock, and it was like once that's gone, it's the control tentacles are.
Yeah, the mushrooms sort of reminded me of like a slime mold, like so the central intelligence, not even necessarily brain, just sort of like
Instinct.
and when you were able, but unlike a slime mold, it had a centralized place where it had the intelligence and you got rid of it.
And so jumping off onto that, Lupine, do you guys have any theories about what the root rock was? Like you had some, Kyle had some or somebody had some flashes of what
Aliens.
Yeah, but like, do you have any theories about like what you've had some time
Kyle,
to think about it?
Oh no, it was lupine, right? You saw lots of rocks underground, right? Was that
I
Matt?
think that was
No,
Kyle.
I think that was.
It was Kyle that had the
Okay,
vision.
that was
Kyle
Okay.
eventually.
About the underground
Because didn't
area.
Kyle touch
Two full
the
episodes
underground,
this time around.
sanctuary thing.
or get
with-
caught by it or something?
Yeah, all the other rocks.
There was like a cavern, right, underground, and there were several rocks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Hey, Kyle,
Yeah,
rocks are my friends."
they said it exactly like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So no theories is what I'm hearing. All right.
Aliens.
Aliens.
We've been over this, Jeremy.
I have a question for Matt. Saying goodbye to a fresh investigator on the first case seems kind of traumatic. But because Call of Cthulhu is a very dangerous game, it's not unusual to see characters meet grisly demises on the reg. How do you approach role-playing in the Lovecraftian universe differently than in another system, knowing that your time is short to make a memorable impression on our audience?
I think in a world where it doesn't take much to take out a character, like we're all, normal humans. It's a really delicate balancing act, because on one hand, you want to, develop the personality and kind of show off who they are and make them their own unique thing. But you can't do it at such a hyper accelerated rate that it comes off as you playing a character for just straight comedy. Like I could have gone, full 12 out of 10 on Kyle and made him, full, like, really dumb, unaware athlete, and it would have been really funny. But it's a lot more fun playing characters that have a deeper layer of complexity to them. And to be able to still have those fun moments, like popping up after the fight and saying, yeah, no, just give the dude $1. But on the other hand, when you play it in that kind of balanced mode, you get the other moments, like him waking up at home and getting to see that little slice of his life where he's by himself and, he's wearing hand-me-down clothes and putting orange juice in his cereal because his dad didn't buy milk before he left him alone. And it's tough to find that balancing point, but at the same time, that's the most fun part, is trying to find that midpoint between playing a character that's memorable and not turning them into a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And for the record, I think you did a wonderful job.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. I was having fun. That was fun.
And
it was
making him a clown.
A fun character, yeah. It was a fun character to play, because when I went from playing Rocky and all these older characters that had all this forethought and knowledge, and went to a young kid who didn't have that prefrontal cortex development and had a lack of filtering, so he was just kind of what's the first thing that comes into my head?
Lots of coffee grounds.
Yeah,
There's no filtering.
Too much filtering. All right. Thank you. I think that's good. Atulia wants to know, who is not here, by the way. Atulia is not in the chat because she's out having a great time without us.
What a jerk.
With so-called friends.
What are friends?
Whatever.
What are
But
friends?
Atulia wanted to know, could you break down what happened to Kyle? I'm not sure if I missed something or if it all just happened off screen. And that is the key. It did all happen off screen. Kyle,
You're supposed to just say yes, we could break it down, but
hey, Crimson Pleasure, thanks for the raid.
Yay!
We
Shadow
now have-
Legends.
Shadow Legends raid. Woo! Appreciate that. So what happened to Kyle? Kyle was turned into a mushroom person off screen, so to speak, even though there was plenty of evidence to anyone who wanted to pay attention and figure out what was going on. But essentially, he stumbled across one of the quote-unquote seed pods or whatever, his doppelganger in process in the clubhouse. And it had attached to him and was essentially leeching him of all his stuff. And he failed a roll that turned out to be deadly. And then, of course, his dad shows up just when he is wavering between consciousness. And then, so the thing that infected him actually managed to begin his conversion and then run away. That's what the mountain lion was, or cougar, or whatever it was.
Oh,
that the dad saw.
Okay.
So when the dad got into the clubhouse, the thing burst from the door, the trap door, and ran off into the underbrush, because it's not like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where the seed pods simply just become you.
Right.
It's more of an infection kind of thing.
Mm.
And eventually what happens to you is something different. And I believe that the rest of Kyle was tucked away somewhere in the clubhouse. I can't remember. All I do remember is that I did put the rest of Uncle John in Uncle John's room. Hi, Trugmar78. Thanks for following. Uncle John was in his war chest. His skin was what was left of him was there. And I was trying to get Kyle to open up that chest.
He just wants a drink of water.
Yeah, yes, that's it exactly. I just want
Yeah.
to drink of water.
Just try.
That's fine.
Just
That's
try.
fine.
Yes, and you son of a.
So that was fun. But that's essentially what happened to Kyle. And so Kyle was turned that day. So by the time Dad got to Kyle, Kyle was already something else. It was a Kyle thing.
Okay.
And so Kyle thing actually went back. The dad carried the Kyle thing back to the house thinking it was Kyle, tucked him in bed, and boom. But, because Kyle had these wounds on him, the thing also copied those wounds.
Right.
So that's why you had those things that had happened previously. So when you woke, the Kyle thing thought he was Kyle, essentially. But, deep down knew, but just maybe not to the forefront of the consciousness. So that is what happened to Kyle off screen. So, Tulia, I hope that answers your question. It was tricky doing that, but yeah, it was pretty wild. Yeah, Crow. So
I really hope that we make a horrible traumatic discovery.
So Rosa and Ben can make a traumatic discovery in the clubhouse. Well, maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But there's also it's also tricky doing the epilogues where these guys get to listen to the epilogue if they so choose, which also divulges some other information that is happening beyond the current case. But there's always a way to avoid that too from a keeper perspective. I can always make something happen. And
I don't know if the people who listen realize how excited we are as players when we find out the tidbits in the epilogue and stuff. We're like, oh, what? No.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
if
Because we don't know
makes
either. It's not like
sense.
we have a debrief and he tells us everything.
No, the epilogues are written, recorded.
We're also not allowed to
independently.
listen to any of the prologues either.
True. Yes.
Right. They can if they so once it hits the airwaves, but by the time they hear the prologue, when the prologue hits the airwaves, they've already played 3 or 4 episodes in.
Right.
So it kind of doesn't matter. And I actually warn them if we're to a point in the scenario where it might matter, maybe avoid that. Because I don't want them to spoil their own experience either. So.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So we are down to the last few questions here. Brian, do you have a question for Matt?
I do. I have a 2-parter. When planning your next character 43,
44.
what will be their most important trait? And second, how many asses will they smack?
Well, to answer your question in reverse order, all of them. Because, clearly Ben
Isn't
is
this fun?
going to take
Yes,
up the torch and start slapping asses. Yeah. Someone has to.
He's going to find a journal from Kyle. Like,
So that's how you
smacking
do it.
asses. There's a picture of a hand on one page and an ass on the other, and you just close it.
Sir, is this book about
Yeah,
slapping
yeah.
asses yours? No, it's not
It's
mine,
like a
baby. Why does it have your name on it?
Why does it have your ass on it?
It's just an aspirant.
All right.
As far as important traits goes,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet. I mean, once I spend a little more time looking at where I want to take the new character, then at some point I'll settle in on kind of direction and personality. And from there, I usually try and fill out skills in a way that makes sense. Could I, always put 80, or could I always put the most points possible into spot hidden? Yeah. Does it make sense for the person I'm playing? Not always. And as advantageous as it would to, always have a lot of points into, spot hidden and
Library
listen.
use.
It's a lot more fun to distribute those points into other lesser used skills, because every now and then you get one of those moments where you're like, wait, I can roll for that.
Yeah.
And it just opens up a lot more opportunities for unique scenarios and unique things to happen that might not have happened otherwise had you just, spent points in the most min-maxy way possible.
Keep smacking asses, man.
Keep smacking asses. Matt,
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
putting 110 points into ass smacking on my next character.
It's a skill, man. We have a question here from I Swing a Bit More. Chris, what's up? Hey, everyone. Got one for all players in Jeremy. These new investigators are a breath of fresh air, and although no investigator is guaranteed to last, some have stood the test of time and gone for several chapters. What do you hope to see for your investigator achieve, and what are you excited to see this group get up to in the future as they grow together or maybe even apart?
I thought we got rid of the mushrooms. We're going to grow together?
Grow together.
Ah, crap.
Yeah. Well, my goal is to become part of the hive mind.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Well, why not?
No
I mean,
responsibilities?
it didn't turn out too well for Kyle, but if you want to give it a go right ahead.
Yeah, maybe Rosa and Kyle will be playing in the mushrooms, frolicking in the mushrooms.
I want to learn more magic.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Mhm.
And Rosa, it did have a touch of a cult there, too. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to make it more than one case without dying.
Um,
Let's start there and we'll
goals.
build out.
I have a really stupid goal called I want Rosa to become Buffy.
Oh, shit.
I
Okay.
like that.
All right. Go on the
Yeah.
offensive and yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And just be totally jaded and totally like, I hate everyone and
Yeah.
I'm going to kick some ass. Kyle's going to slap him. I'm going to kick him.
You could do like a Buffy. You could do like a Buffy Sabrina crossover.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The occult and the
Right.
I'll be
hunting.
there
Like
too,
it.
Mm.
In
Maybe.
spirit. In
Maybe.
spirit.
if I'm not dead.
Once every episode from the back, you hear,
Matt rolls
"Hey
up
guys,
Sabrina.
I'm here too."
Yeah.
Buffy. All right. Hope that answers your question there. I Swing a Bit More.
I don't think we answered it. I'm sorry.
I think we did actually. Basically, it was like, what are you excited to see this group get up
Yeah,
to in
yeah,
the
yeah.
future?
I
Yeah.
definitely want to delve more into magic.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For
Yeah.
shizzle.
And I'm sort of trying to push you in that direction too, with like the little
Yeah.
asides of like you stole the car to go see a magic
Uh-huh.
show and like that sort of thing. Because
Uh-huh.
we had already talked about that interest, so I knew you wanted to
That homeless
So-
guy down the dark alley that gave you
Yeah.
the special trick.
hobo with a magic wand. Matt, do you have a question for Brian?
I do, and it's not a two-parter.
Good.
Oh.
Oof, thank God, we're almost
Considering what Ben has been through this season, especially in terms of dealing with strangers and new people, how do you think he's going to react when a new person just kind of shows up and immediately tries to insert themselves into the group, maybe in a way that might be seen by the other two as trying to take over for Kyle? Like, how do you think he's going to react to having to deal with somebody entirely new trying to fill a spot that, has been filled for a long time because we were all friends for a while?
At least an entire.
Shut up.
Well, I probably stab them with a pitchfork just to make sure they're not a mushroom.
Make sure
When I
he
see the
bleeds.
blood,
Only logical.
I need to see you bleed.
I'll start digging the hole. Shallow grave. I'm a kid still. No, I probably my personality hasn't really changed. I'm just more cautious around new people and around adults. So probably just test you a bit more than I normally would and suss you out. Make sure you're not venting.
I saw red venting.
2017, baby.
We're not dating ourselves at all.
You're dating
I
yourselves?
am.
What?
And I'm mad at me.
What?
That's sus AF, bruh.
All right.
That's probably what I'll do is just make sure you're a genuine person who's there to be yourself.
An actual
No ulterior
human being.
motives.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
flesh
Lupine,
and
do you have a
blood.
question for me?
Do it.
So
What's the scenario we're playing and what's the solution?
yeah, right. How do you win?
How do you win?
We're all winners.
There's no winning in baseball. Wait.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crying though. Wait.
Oh.
Right. Okay, so I was kind of like going back and forth on whether I felt bad about doing this to you or not. And you sort of assured me that you are used to this sort of thing. But what I guess, how did you play? Did you write differently based on the fact that I pushed that roll and fumbled?
Yeah. Which role was this?
The one at the hot springs.
Oh,
Remember when I was trying to
yeah.
run away
Oh.
from the
Kyle had to jump out and slap some ass to
right,
Yeah.
provide
Yeah.
adequate distraction.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm trying to remember because I remember
She-
the fail. It was a big,
She
big
tripped
fail.
and fell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tripped and fell.
I-
Well, that's when you got infected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
The handprint on her back.
That
Yeah.
so I kind of assumed that somebody would get infected,
Yeah.
right? Because the dangers were increasing all the time.
Everybody but me.
I did not think it was going to be you because I
Right.
for whatever reason I didn't I thought
You
that-
didn't take into account my chaos.
yeah, well, yes, there's that 100%.
Player chaos.
And like when you got Kyle running around slapping asses, and you got
Yeah.
Hey.
Ben who is being extraordinarily overly cautious or something. Like
Yeah.
I figured like one of those guys would fail a roll that would put them in a situation. And
Right.
or it would have been like a normal chase situation or a normal combat situation, whatever it was. But this was like you just failing so bad that it was like, okay, well, yeah. Now
I was 100% sure you were going to kill me.
you were on track to be
Yeah.
Yes.
a fungal thing if
Ooh.
if things hadn't really panned out and you hadn't like picked up the signals and done something stupid like run away, like
Yeah.
Right.
then you would have been
Hey.
in really bad situation. But
Yeah.
thankfully we were able to find a way to like get you some help.
Mhm. Thankfully, you just killed Kyle.
Yeah. And I wrote even early on, like what happens when someone gets infected. Here is the
Mhm.
normal standard, situation, how long it will take, that sort of thing. And it's a weird thing because it's the fungal infection actually, as we demonstrated at the old guy's place, essentially grows on you and then will detach from you and
Mhm.
become that pod after it's
Oh, yeah.
collected your DNA sampling or whatever it is, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
start slowly become you, and then dispatch you, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I didn't need to rewrite anything really. It was just like, oh shit, it's Rosa. Okay,
I played right into your hands.
did not see that coming, but
Right into that hand.
yep,
Yeah.
Rosa's it.
Fortunately for you, those NPCs played right into Kyle's ass slapping hand.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Oof. So just cupping. Okay. Hope
I
that
thought it was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question. And I got the last question here for Brian, and we kind of went over this a little bit already, but I'm going to ask it again because you might have a different take on it. Ben went through a lot this scenario, emotionally,
See.
physically. As he enters high school as a freshman, how do you think this experience will color his interactions with other students and potential new friends? You kind of
Hmm.
did a little bit there with
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but I kind of wonder, like, what is Ben's like demeanor going to be?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's going to probably be the biggest change.
Mm-hmm.
Is he always would pull back and always look for the easiest way out of a room, out of a situation. I think it's not necessarily confidence. It's more so you can't do anything worse to me than what I've gone through this past summer. So it's not going to bother me whatever you do to me.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a bully situation or anything like that, it's gonna pale in comparison to losing my
First,
friend.
we're gonna throw $1 at him.
Yeah,
No, nothing.
just to try and see if it works.
Yeah, because if it works, then we're golden.
You owe me that ass. Oh no, God, I'm not paying that.
So it
It's
sounds
100
like
pennies.
Ben's fight or flight attitude has diminished, and you've probably put up some walls or armor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Attitude as well. Like the more so, I care, appear to care less. You know, like whatever. Yeah, I'm a nerd. But so what? What are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Versus having that constant fear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this episode of the Lovecraft Tapes and for this case. This is the end of Case 15. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you prefer. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review. Meanwhile, visit lovecrafttapes.com for up-to-date information about our podcast and subscribe to our live streams like this one at twitch.tv/lovecrafttapes or youtube.com/lovecrafttapes. You can chat with me anytime in real time at discord.lovecrafttapes.com.
And if some of you have made the migration out there to the great open wide Fediverse, you can hit me up on Mastodon at The Real Weird Kid.
If you want to talk about slime molds, I don't know. I actually don't know that much about slime molds. I'll talk about them, but I don't really know that much. But you can find me at a Linktree, Linktree/Lupine Vendetta. One word.
Which word?
Lupine Vendetta.
You can find me at benainttakenshit.biz. Drop me a line.
Until next time, roll for s'mores. Who doesn't like
Gooey,
marshmallows and chocolate and graham crackers?
hot scalding marshmallows in your mouth,
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Oh, so
burning your tongue
You
in
gotta-
the roof of your mouth.
You gotta set them on fire.
absolutely.
That's the
Take a bite and it
Yeah.
squirts down your throat by accident.
right? And then you
You
scald
gotta
your-
go to the hospital because
You feel like you're being tortured by Mongols.
But the nurse is attractive, so that works.
Yeah.
A little awkward when
It
you get a
works for you,
stiffy
buddy.
when she checks you out, but you know.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you to everyone in the chat who watched along. Chiru.
Yay.
Chiru is rocking both YouTube and Twitch. That's
Nice.
Very nice. Thank you for the rep in there. Crocy, I Swing a Bit More. Beyond Peril. Justin, what's up?
Woo.
Loser.
Prophet of Woe, of course, was in there. And way back
Prophet.
when, I guess we had Sue, a bunch of other people too. We had like 18 people at one point. So that must be the raid from Crimson Pleasure. Appreciate
Oh, yeah.
that. Very
Yes,
much.
thanks, Crimson.
That's
Guys,
awesome.
we will be back recording normal things in about 4 weeks.
Tomorrow.
Is it 4
Oh,
weeks?
I mean-
I think it's about 4 weeks.
I don't know.
Three-
Yeah, but
4
when are we
weeks.
going to start recording abnormal things
Abnormal
again?
things, yes. Justin and I will be on tomorrow for Double Vision. We're playing Generation Zero, which is a pretty interesting game.
Yeah.
So we'll zap that along. And
We
yeah,
got to get working. I kind of promised that we were putting together a Lovecraft Tapes studio album. There's going to be a 5-minute, 45-second track of just my keyboard clicks. So everybody else, you have to get your tracks together. That's what I'm doing. No taking my idea.
Okay.
all right.
ASM, no.
Fair enough. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you very soon.